Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we're going to focus on the 33rd Arab Summit that took place in Manama, Bahrain, with the participation of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and we will be focusing as well and shedding more light on the important meetings that took place on the sidelines of the Arab Summit, including His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his counterparts from several Arab countries. And I am honored tonight to be having with me in the studio over the program for the Daily Debate for tonight is Ambassador Jilan Allam, the former Assistant Foreign Minister for International Political Affairs. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Pleasure to be here.
Anytime. The pleasure is all mine. We will be starting straight away with the main top story for today, which took place on Thursday in Manama, addressing the inaugural session of the 33rd Arab Summit in Manama, Bahrain. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi reiterated that the summit was being held in a critical moment and historical circumstances in which the Middle East region was going through. President al-Sisi said that such a moment ranges from the complex challenges and crises in many Arab countries to the brutal Israeli war against the Palestinian people. The head of state further reiterated that this defining moment was imposed on all the concerned parties and that it was the choice between two paths: the path of peace, stability and hope, or the path of chaos and destruction, which was promoted by the continuing military escalation in the Gaza Strip. President al-Sisi noted that history would pause for a long time on that war to record a great tragedy of intensification of killing, revenge and siege of the entire people. This is in addition to starvation, terrorism and the forced displacement of the Palestinians amid the regrettable inability of the international community with all its active forces and institutions. The head of state stressed that the children of Gaza who were killed, orphaned, their rights would remain a drawn sword over the conscience of humanity until justice was enforced through the relevant mechanisms of the international law. President al-Sisi said that while Egypt engages with the brotherly countries in serious and desperate attempts to save the region from falling into chaos and destruction, there was no real international or political will to end the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories and address the roots of the conflict through a two-state solution. He reiterated that Egypt would maintain its firm position of rejecting trials to liquidate the Palestinian cause and as well as a forced displacement of Palestinians and making life impossible in the Gaza Strip with the aim of evacuating the land of Palestine of its people. And regarding the meetings that took place on the sidelines of the 33rd Arab Summit in Bahrain, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Presidential spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said that President al-Sisi expressed Egypt's full support to the Palestinian leadership in facing pressures it was exposed to. The President further expressed the Egyptian appreciation for the efforts exerted by the Palestinian National Authority to push forward the international community in order to shoulder its responsibility in confronting the Israeli aggression on Gaza. The head of state also stressed the Egyptian rejection of the Israeli war on the Gaza Strip, which has aggravated the negative repercussions due to the military operations in Rafah. President al-Sisi reviewed the Egyptian intensifying efforts to form a serious international position regarding the Israeli procedures, as well as the country's measures to stop the Israeli aggression on Gaza and de-escalate the humanitarian situation inside the Strip, as well as reaching sufficient humanitarian aid there to save its people. On the sidelines of the same summit, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the Jordanian monarch King Abdullah II. Presidential spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said that the meeting tackled the means to enhance the cooperation between the two countries in accordance with the aspirations of their peoples towards stability and development as well. And President Al-Sisi met with the Iraqi counterpart Abdul Latif Rashid on the sidelines of the Arab Summit, as presidential spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said that the two presidents affirmed the satisfaction with the level of relations between the two countries and the developments that they have witnessed in recent years, whether at the bilateral or the tripartite level between Egypt, Iraq and Jordan. We will be heading to the first report of the daily debate for tonight, which focuses on the Egyptian rejection of the Israeli distortion of the facts regarding the Palestinian cause. We will be having more details and more statements by the Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry in the upcoming report. Stay tuned.
Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry affirmed Egypt's categorical rejection of the Israeli policy of distorting the facts and disavowing responsibility, stressing that Israel is solely responsible for the humanitarian catastrophe endured by the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Shoukry's remarks came following the statements of the Israeli Foreign Minister demanding the reopening of the Rafah border crossing and holding Egypt responsible for preventing a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. Shoukry stressed that Israeli military operations in Rafah and the subsequent control over the Palestinian side of the crossing, along with the resulting threats to the lives of relief workers and truck drivers, are the main reason for the difficulty in delivering aid through the crossing. According to the Foreign Ministry's official statement, Shoukry strongly denounced the desperate attempts of the Israeli side to hold Egypt responsible for the unprecedented humanitarian crisis facing the Gaza Strip. This crisis has resulted from the indiscriminate Israeli aggression against the Palestinians for over 7 months, in which more than 35,000 citizens have been killed, most of whom were women and children. Furthermore, the top Egyptian diplomat called on Israel to fulfill its legal responsibility as the occupying power by allowing aid entry through the land crossings under its control. Meanwhile, Egypt has informed Israel of the risks of persisting in blocking humanitarian aid from entering the Gaza Strip. Since the start of the war in October, the Rafah crossing has served as the main pathway for thousands of humanitarian aid trucks delivering life-saving aid from Egypt, other countries and relief agencies. Egypt has also facilitated the evacuation of tens of thousands of dual passport holders, Egyptians and seriously injured individuals from Gaza over the past months. The crossing, captured last week following the Israeli control of the Palestinian side of Rafah, has granted Israel control over the entry and exit of people and goods for the first time since the withdrawal of its soldiers and settlers from the Strip in 2005.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and as I said in the beginning, I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Ambassador Jilan Allam, the former Assistant Foreign Minister for the International Political Affairs. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. First of all, how did you read the speech and the statements made by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi at the 33rd Arab Summit in Bahrain?
Let me start by saying how we should look at the 33rd Arab Summit in Bahrain. This is the first Arab Summit that is being held in Bahrain for the first time. So it has a special meaning and a special attribution to the Bahraini people and to the Bahraini government. The king of Bahrain was in Egypt in April, and I think that the opportunity that presented itself for the President Al-Sisi to visit Bahrain again is very much in time, and very much addressing the issue at the core of all this hustle that we are facing in the Middle East, and actually basically us. I mean it has turned down and boiled down to become like Egypt versus Israel now. So it couldn't be left to that, and it had to take another level of interest and importance, and this is why we have this summit there, so that the Arab governments, the Arab leadership takes into account and stands by the position that the Arab League should be taking, and also that the international community should be looking at this particular issue and this particular stage of, you mentioned a lot in your presentation.
Yes.
And so the Palestinians are really facing a fatal future that is going to create so many problems and so much chaos and so many obstacles to any settlement and to any saying. Those who speak about what after, what is the future of all this,
yes.
I think if the situation is left to progress by itself, I think we will not have that opportunity at all to be able to say what is the future and what is coming up.
Yes, during the speech of President Al-Sisi, His Excellency mentioned that we are ahead of two paths. We only have two paths ahead.
It's either chaos or peace.
Or destruction,
actually, he mentioned something very specific and something very important.
Yes.
The brinkmanship situation, whereby Israel has been pushing the situation further and further and further until it placed itself at the gates of the Rafah area, and then we come to a stalemate, because I mean we will not enter. I mean, as a matter of principle, we will have all the aid that is available and that we can potentially make available to the Palestinian people through the Rafah gate, but not through an Israeli-run Rafah gate, or observed or investigated. This was not the understanding. But the Israelis kept putting to brinkmanship all of the situation, and now we are facing a real stalemate. And this is why it's very important, and that there were very high expectations about this summit, that it should take a real stand vis-à-vis the practices, the malpractices actually of Israel vis-à-vis the Palestinians and the situation in the area in general. They are not taking it into consideration, they are not taking into account, they are not taking into account any of the feelings of the Arab population, not only the Palestinians. And I keep actually, personally, I keep asking myself, what is it that the Palestinians ever did to the Israelis that is making them so hateful towards them and willing to go to the last kill? I think they have to review how they feel about the area, about themselves also. And if they want to live in peace in the area, here in the Middle East, then they have to be peaceful. They have to be peace lovers. And I don't see it. I mean, nobody has seen so far. I mean, even in Europe, look what has happened in Europe, in Latin America, in the States. I mean, there has been support all over for the Palestinian people. And I think one of the songs, the beautiful songs that came, Live Palestina, I think is going to stay for a very long time to remind people of what's happening, and it has just to come to an end.
Yes, and you mentioned that there were expectations regarding the 33rd Arab Summit, and there is also an expectation from the international community to be reacting following the starvation, the killings, the terrorism and the forced displacement of the Palestinians. How do you see both expectations regarding the Arab leaders during the Arab Summit for today and the international community afterwards?
The Arab leaders, I think I've been following all the speeches that have been given,
yes.
And I think very, very serious, very straight to the point, and very much dedicated to finding a peaceful solution to that situation. Allowing the establishment of a Palestinian state with its capital in Jerusalem. So we have to abide by that. And we have to, I think the international community now, except for the United States, I think, is ready to work in this direction. And this is why the Bahrain declaration, summit declaration,
yes,
invoked an international peace conference, and it has been received in a very welcoming way, and I think it has become the first proposal that has been coming out of the declaration.
Yes, regarding the statements and the speech of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he mentioned that the efforts of Egypt are all targeting de-escalation in the Gaza Strip over the past 7 or 8 months, ever since the 7th of October. Yes.
Yeah.
How do you see the importance of the efforts of Egypt to be de-escalating the situation in Gaza?
Actually, I mean, this is what Egypt has been doing for the very few since 1948. I mean, we have been in this situation of being some kind of a carrier, the major carrier for the Palestinian issue.
Yes.
I think we have been through 4 wars because of Palestine. I think we have been taking a lot from Israel during different phases and in different ways, or trying to. And we have had summits, we have had meetings, we have had committees, we have had. Then I think there is something that is very typical to the time that President Sisi headed the country. It's summit diplomacy. I mean, he depends on that very much, and it proved to be very effective, and it led to constructive decisions. And I think that what he is trying to convey, that there must be a limit to it. There must be an end to that. It cannot continue, and we cannot allow Israel to continue on this kind of steadfast pushing away of establishment, and abiding by the international community resolutions, abiding by the international law, international humanitarian law. I think he's trying to push the international community to do that, and I think he has succeeded to a great extent in awakening the resolve of the countries to do that. And I think that if we have a very serious and tedious international, very well prepared and very well lobbied international peace conference, I think it might, and I think that the international community is ready to accept a Palestinian state. The only 2, or well, there are 9 actually.
Yes.
But the major 2 who are opposed to it is unfortunately the United States, a country that has always advocated peace and human rights and security, and Israel, who claims to be the only democracy in the area. I'm not so sure, watching television for the last few years, and certainly since the 7th of October, that this is the actions of a democracy at all.
Yes, on the political level, how did you see the role of Egypt mediating between Hamas and Israel, of course, over the past few months, as things have escalated and things have developed regarding a truce? Do you think that this will be attainable in the near future?
Well, this is not a very easy answer. There is no easy answer,
yes,
or straight answer or clear answer to that, because I mean, Israel keeps changing its modus operandi, and Hamas is in a situation whereby it has to follow very closely the movements of Israel, so that it is there actually. I mean, they have been trying. They say we will have to end and kill and make it disappear.
Yes.
It hasn't disappeared, so they have to live with the fact that it is there. And they have to live with the fact that they will have, at a certain point, to sit and negotiate with them, either through mediators or directly. But the result of it is that they are talking to each other.
Yes.
Now, I think that one of the areas where we are become aware that it might take much too long than it was expected, because we have been in this for some time now. So this is why I think that in preparation for the international peace conference, I think this kind of discussions will have to resume, and to resume with the target to achieve something to be presented to the conference to adopt. And I think it is time for Israel to democratic state, to have new elections, new leadership, less aggressive, less right-handed, right-winged, and peace inclined, at least. If I will not say peace loved, but because I mean it's very difficult to see this is happening with the Israelis, but at least peace inclined, because they will not survive without peace.
Yes, Ambassador Jilan Allam, allow me to be going to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, which focuses on the response of the Arab League regarding the adoption of a two-state solution following the United Nations General Assembly decision over the past week. We will be having more details regarding such a report in the upcoming segments. Stay tuned.
Secretary General of the Arab League, AL, Ahmed Abul Ghait, said that countries advocating for the two-state solution for Israel-Palestine must expedite their efforts to translate this vision into reality. Abul Ghait's comment comes 24 hours after the UN General Assembly, the UNGA, voted by a more than two-thirds majority for the draft resolution granting more rights to Palestine and urging the UN Security Council to reconsider Palestine's bid to become the 94th member of the UN. In a statement, the AL chief said the UNGA vote in favor of Palestine's UN membership vividly reflects the global consensus and international public opinion on the Palestinian cause. He added, the General Assembly's voice was resolute and unmistakable, making it challenging for any party to disregard its significance or turn a blind eye to it. He stressed that the recognition of the Palestinian state and its attainment of full membership in the United Nations are crucial steps towards the two-state goal. The recognition of Palestine sends a vital message of support to the Palestinians who are enduring a grave tragedy, he added. The UNGA resolution would expand the rights of Palestine in the United Nations, including the right to introduce and co-sponsor proposals within the UN General Assembly, but falls short of granting it full membership rights in voting. Palestine currently holds observer status in the international body, would be able to sit among member states and raise procedural motions among other rights. The UN General Assembly endorsed resolution is expected to be submitted for a vote by the UN Security Council per UN regulations. The representative of Israel at the UN denounced the international body for considering the admission of Palestine to the international body as a shameful flouting of the UN Charter. The Arab League said in its statement that the Israeli response at the UN reflects the occupying state's true stance on the international system's rules, the United Nations and its norms and laws. The AL also stressed the importance of sustaining diplomatic pressure to expose parties that continue to provide political cover for Israel within the United Nations, particularly within the Security Council.
Welcome back. You're still watching the daily debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the show for tonight is Ambassador Jilan Allam, the former Assistant Foreign Minister for the Political International Affairs. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We have seen over the past report an important decision to be recognizing Palestine at the United Nations General Assembly, and the response of the Arab League and the Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Ghait. How do you see the whole process over the past week?
That was a very smart move, actually, because the decision to consider Palestine as a state in the United Nations was presented first to the Security Council, where it was, of course, got vetoed by the United States.
Yes.
And then, of course, it did not get the required voting and majorities. So the next step was very smart to take and actually very well timed. So they went to the General Assembly. The General Assembly, we need a 2/3 majority to get your resolution passing.
Yes.
It got 143 votes in favor. That's 3/4.
Yes.
So, which is much more than the required majority.
Yes.
And then you had, of course, the vicious 9 voting against. You had 25. You had the 20 abstaining, 25, and then 16 did not vote at all. Did not attend actually, or attended and didn't vote.
Yes.
So that makes 100 the whole community of 193, which means that Palestine, the state of Palestine, will become the member number 194 in the membership of the United Nations. A great pride for the Palestinian people, a great win for the Palestinian people, a great win for the international community, because they have been honest and straightforward and going ahead with whatever it is that they wanted to do. So I think this is a big achievement, and we should be very proud of it and be happy of it. How to implement it now?
Yes.
How
Especially
to
for the
implement it
two-state
now?
solution.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the Secretary General of the United Nations actually, let us remember when he said that the 7th of October didn't come from a vacuum, and reprimand the very indecent reprimand that he got from the Israeli side, be it the permanent representative or the Prime Minister. So,
yes.
So I think now he has the mandate of the international community to work. So I think he will have, and he was attending he was present at the summit in Bahrain. So I think he will start discussing with the quartet first, and then with the chairmanship of the group,
yes,
with the Arab League, with the counterparts in the Arab League, with the international community, how to implement, what are the next step to be taken to be implemented. Of course there will be obstacles, but I think at the end of the day we will see Palestine sitting on its chair in the General Assembly Hall.
Yes. On the other hand, we have seen attempts by Israel and its allies to be liquidating the Palestinian cause over the past, of course, several years, maybe decades as well, but more specifically and more evidently ever since the 7th of October. How do you see the importance of stopping against this agenda, to be liquidating the Palestinian cause, to be forcing or the forced displacement of the Palestinians from Gaza, from other territories of Palestine as well, to other countries?
I think that the main target from readings and from watching the media, I think that the main target for the Israelis is to eliminate the Palestinians altogether, as a race, as a species, as
ethnic cleansing,
as a ethnic cleansing to the utmost extent possible.
Yes.
I don't think they will. They have succeeded. I mean, they might think that they have succeeded to a certain extent, but I think the Palestinians are survivors, and we have seen that nobody else, after all this destruction and rampage that have been going through in Gaza and the West Bank, that the Palestinians have been standing up. I mean, this is very inhuman.
Yes.
Position where they are. I mean, we cannot look. I mean, what is it more painful for a mother to see their children and her house bombed? I mean, how can anybody take that?
Yes.
Children looking at their parent, losing their parent, getting lost. I mean, you have a whole. If I consider Gaza, you have a whole sector of the Palestinian state, all rubbles. So but they have sustained and they have stayed, and I think they will be able to overcome research and studies say, well, they need something like 25 billion and $1 billion and something like 30 years to do it. But I mean, we have been in this saga for the last 76 years, and to put 30 more years to it, I don't think it's an impossible task. It's an honorable task. It's a task that has to be done. And I think it will be done. And the Israelis have to be ready to accept that and to live with it. So better live with it in honor and grace rather than in animosity and disgrace.
Yes, on the sidelines of the 33rd Arab Summit, we have seen an important meeting between His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Palestinian counterpart Mahmoud Abbas. Well, how do you see the importance of such a meeting in terms of giving more support, political support, to the Palestinian president and the Palestinian cause?
It couldn't be more. President Sisi is showing the world, not only the Arab or the Arab world, but showing the world that we are the real supporters of the Palestinian people. I mean, we are the closest neighbors that could ever be, and we are going to continue that through history. So I think, and the case itself, the cause itself, it is. I think you and I and everybody believes that there is a right and that there is a right to be restored, and this is the direction in which we are working, and we are trying to amass with us the international community. The Arab world is there for us all the time, but the international community. And if 143 members of the international community have voted a few days back for a Palestinian state, I think this shows where the world is heading and how he's looking at that issue. So it is happening, but it will take the course of time to prepare for it.
And you mentioned a very important topic. What's next for the Palestinian cause? What's next in terms of the mediation efforts and the humanitarian aid and the political solutions for Hamas, for Israel, for the aggression that is taking place against the Palestinians in Gaza?
Actually, what next is the major issue.
Yes.
I mean, now we have started getting back what is ours, but how to do it and what to do it and where to do it, where to start. Where to start, what to do first, what is of the utmost importance. I think the Palestinian people will have to talk to each other about it. And I do like very much, you know, what the President Abbas said, that, you know, it is up to the Palestinians to decide how their future will be. But here we have to mention and to be sure that all the parties in the Palestinian spectrum are talking to each other, so that they can start on a fresh ground, on a peaceful and understanding and on a compromising ground. I mean, there is no absolute solution for anything, but I mean we should expect a lot of compromises, and I think that President Abbas and the Palestinians will have to be ready for that, accept it and work through it.
Yes, Ambassador Jilan, Allam, of course, the whole Arab Summit, the whole Arab world is dominated by the Palestinian cause and what is going on in Palestine, in Gaza, and then in Rafah as well. But we also have several important issues in the Arab world, like Sudan, for example. Do you think that this has taken the spotlight out of Sudan, for example, and we need solutions for such an important topic as well?
We have Sudan, we have Libya, we have Somalia, we have Bab el-Mandab. I mean, we have plenty of conflicts going on. I don't think that there is any other area in the world that has so many internal conflicts and intra-conflicts between its country. And certainly, they are losing momentum and the heat of the importance of the problem, be it Sudan, be it Libya, be it whoever. I mean, people there will have to express themselves and start working. And here comes, I think, the Arab League can play a very, very vital and important role in kind of dissecting all these problems and bringing the parties to discuss and having different groups looking after after these discussions, I think it is time. I mean, we should take example in the Palestinian cause. It has taken so many decades, but still at the end of the day, it had to be discussed and resolved. And I think that the parties, because the intra conflicts in the Arab world, or the inter conflicts in the Arab world, are solvable. They are between people who were talking to each other but can't talk to each other anymore. Or because some parties have an interest in interfering in the affairs of the Arab world and bringing chaos to it. And we should be smarter than that and attend to this problem and discuss them. And I love to see a very, very active role for the Arab League. It has a great opportunity, and I think they are the sole saviors of these issues at all.
Yes, hopefully in the future we could be seeing the role of the Arab League more evident in these conflicts. Ambassador Jilan Allam, the former Assistant Foreign Minister for the International Political Affairs. Thank you very much. Anytime. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, Ambassador Jilan Allam, on the Daily Debate.
Thank you very much. Pleasure being with you.
The pleasure is all mine. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.